Good afternoon, everyone. Sarah Barker with Connect Our Elders, and today is the Empowering Aging podcast. I have with me Tim Colling, the owner and president of Senior Leads Boost. So you may be wondering, what does a company doing work such as this have to do with empowering aging? Well, all of the caregiving agencies, right, or assisted living communities, they need these sorts of services to attract clients that they can serve. So it is most certainly part of empowering aging. Tim, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you.
Would you mind sharing with the audience a bit about who you are and your background and what caused you to start Senior Leads Boost?
Great. I'd love to do that. Thank you, Cheryl. So, my name is Tim Colling, and I am the owner of Senior Leads Boost. My background is somewhat varied. I have a business background. I'm a retired CPA and also worked as chief financial officer for a chemical manufacturer for 10 years. I owned a non-medical home care agency in San Diego County from 2003 until I sold it at the end of 2015. And also, I was a software R&D manager for a number of pretty big software companies for 20 years. So I have a pretty wildly varied background. And a couple of years before I sold my home care agency, I started this company, Senior Leads Boost, and its parent company, which is called A Servant's Heart Web Design and Marketing. And the purpose of the company is to provide ways for those who serve the elderly and their families to generate more business through online marketing. And that can be through search engine optimization, which we'll talk about today, and also through other marketing automation tools. So it's a little bit of background.
Well, thank you. I know I had meetings with numerous people today and phone calls, and they were expressing that they were looking forward to this presentation. And what you're going to be presenting on is maximizing your chances to be found in online searches. So without further ado, we will go ahead and bring up the deck. And the
Great.
floor is all yours, Tim.
Okay, thank you very much. So today we're going to be talking primarily about something called local SEO or local search engine optimization. And really that just means doing everything you can so that when somebody searches for the service or product that you provide on Google, that they will find you. And the reason I say on Google is because honestly, they're the only game in town. They have over 90% of the search market. And so all of the other ones, whether it be Bing or DuckDuckGo or all the other ones, honestly, from a business standpoint, it just makes no sense to concentrate on those. It's very much more worthwhile to focus on uh, Google. And so that's what we're going to look at. And the important thing that I just want to start out with is this assertion that your website matters, but it's not the most important factor. A lot of people think that the most important thing is to have a website, and it really is important, but it's not the most important factor. I'm noticing a little flicker. I wonder if I should turn my camera off. I don't know. I can't tell, but that's going to be a distraction. Um, so, why do I say that? Well, I say that your website is not the most important factor because the most important factor for being found in Google searches is something called a Google Business Profile. What does that mean? Well, Google has a worldwide business directory, and it's called the Google Business Profile directory or system. If you don't have a listing in the Google Business Profiles, you're not going to be found. Your business won't be found when people do an online search. And so I'll show you some examples of this at the end if there's time. Um, so if you don't have a profile, you won't be able to be found at all. If you do have a profile, you really need to have it be fully optimized, which means you have to start out with it being as optimized as possible, and I'll talk about what that means. And then also you need to keep it optimized. One of the most important factors and features of Google Business Profiles is something called Google Reviews. Google reviews are the only reviews that are going to affect your chances of being found in online searches because that's the only ranking factor that Google uses when it comes to online searches. Um, so we'll take a look at that as well. Another thing that matters is citations. What that means is your company's listings in online directories. We'll talk about that. And then finally, you do need to have a website, and it does matter, but it's not as important as your Google business profile. So let's take a look at this. So the way to find out whether you have a Google business profile is actually very simple. You simply go to Google and you search for your business name and see if it is found. Do I have the ability to share my screen, Sarah?
From the internet?
Yeah, let's see. I think I can. I see the option here. Let me try. Okay, so if I go here, let's see if that works.
There you go.
Okay, super. Okay, so I'm just gonna. This is unrehearsed. I'm gonna just search for a company name that I'm familiar with, a company that provides non-medical home care services in my area. They're called Qualicare, and sure enough, they have a Google Business Directory listing. And the reason I can tell that is that their company Google Business Profile information appears as part of the search result, prominently as part of the search result, after I do that search. And so as you can see, that Google Business Profile entry includes a bunch of information about them that they could potentially complete, and they actually have done a good job of completing quite a bit of these. They have quite a few reviews, they have good overall average, and lots of things like that. So let's see, I'll go back to sharing the slides then.
There you go.
Okay, perfect, thank you. So in this case, that particular company, yes, they were found. If they hadn't been found in the search results, then that would mean that they don't have a business profile. And you can create one. You simply go to business.google.com and create a profile. Now, there's a long list of things that you can add to the profile, features that you can take advantage of the profile that will help your profile to rank. This is called optimizing your profile. And those include getting reviews and getting them recurrently and consistently, photos uploaded to your profile, questions and answers, we'll talk about that a little bit more, posts, which are something like a blog post, and then other things that matter like attributes mean, is this a business that is woman owned, or another one is veteran owned, or black owned. And also you can complete fields for the date that it was started and the description of the business and many others. And then after you have initially created and optimized your business profile, you can continue to keep it optimized by getting more reviews, getting more photos, uploading more photos, being sure that you detect and then answer any new questions that are posted, and also creating new posts on an ongoing business. And there's other things that you can do as well. It's important that you not only initially optimize your listing, but then also continue to keep it optimized. So that means also that you need to monitor your business profile. So what I mean by this is, in some manner, occasionally checking to see if there have been any changes to it. So it turns out that Google itself, or anyone with a Google account, which means a Gmail account, they can do something called suggesting an edit. And they can include things like changing the information in the profile, like your business name or your phone number or things like that. And also they can do things like suggesting changes to the status of your business, like the business is closed, or the business is no longer in this location. So it's important to check your profile, business profile, every day, really, to make sure that nothing has been changed. So that's a nuisance, right? So Google supposedly will tell you if anything has changed, but it's not reliable, unfortunately. There's a lot of things about Google that are okay and good. There's also a lot of things about Google and its practices that are buggy, and this is one of them. So I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people on the phone about their overall SEO, and they'll say, "Oh, I've got a business profile," and I go look at it, it'll be marked with a big red banner, permanently closed,
Oh,
or it'll have a phone number that is not theirs; it's the number of one of their competitors, or any number of other things. And so it's really important to check your listing on a daily basis, or have somebody do it for you. Um, I talked about citations as one of the other factors that are important. So they're not as important as they used to be, but they still matter. Kind of like a website. You got to get this right, and then you can move on, just like with your website. So what they are is the listings that your business has for its name, address, phone number, and website address across the major business directories online, like yp.com and others. Um, and if the listings in all of those are accurate and consistent, so there's not a bunch of variance from one to the other, that's a signal to Google and its ranking algorithms that your business is more trustworthy. Now, it's not as major a factor as it used to be, but it does matter. So you've got to do it, and then you can move on. So let's see. Looks like okay. Looks like we're missing some factors, some slides here, but maybe not. Maybe we covered the main ones. So I just want to touch on a couple of other factors here. So let's go back to the Qualicare example. Let's see. I guess I need to share my screen again.
yes.
Okay.
So I'm glad that you brought up checking your Google My Business daily, because I have not been doing that. And so that just made me have some anxiety temporarily, because I didn't realize that people could hijack it and literally make changes to the phone number or to state
Yep.
that your business is not operating. That's scary.
So I want to talk more about this. This is really important. So I think I shared my screen again successfully. Did I do that? Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay.
There you go.
So Qualicare, again, this is the company that we found a few moments ago. It so happens this is the company that purchased my home care agency back in 2015. So I'm very familiar with them, of course. So notice a couple of things about this. Number one, notice that there's this option here that says suggest and edit. Well, the only reason it's displaying that is because I have a Google account, just like millions of the rest of you do, because I have a Gmail account. Here's what happens. I can click on this, and if I were a malicious competitor, for instance, I could say, "Oh, their phone number is not this; it's my phone number."
Oh my
Or
word.
I could change the website address to something else. Um, or actually, another cute thing I've seen done before is where somebody will go in here and change the phone number to like something really objectionable, like an escort service or something like that. So yeah, so it's awful, right? So when somebody submits a change like this, it doesn't just automatically get accepted. Notice I'm going to say discard the changes that I made. And so what happens is Google will process that suggested edit automatically using all of their algorithms and programs and gears and levers and all that. Humans almost never get involved in that. So what happens? Well, one thing that they take into account is the reputation that Google user has with them in terms of the history of their previous suggestions. So I have submitted thousands of changes to Google over the years, and virtually none of them have ever been not accepted or objected to. And so my suggestions, and I'm not bragging, I'm just saying all of their algorithms will let me submit changes and they will accept them fairly quickly,
Mhm.
fairly automatically. Whereas if it's somebody who isn't a regular uh, change suggester, that may not be the case. Also, I speculate, although of course we don't any of us really know this because Google never tells us what's really going on. If I were to suggest an edit and I would say this business is permanently closed, those edits will tend to get more scrutiny, even if it's perhaps algorithmically, but those won't be probably accepted as easily. In any
Mhm.
case, if somebody does suggest an edit, what is supposed to happen is that Google is supposed to notify the owner or the one of the admin users of this listing. A listing can have more than one user. They can be administrator users or manager users. Um, and so theoretically, the owner of this profile would have a chance to object to that change. Um, Things don't always work smoothly, so you
Right.
want to
And
watch
Tim,
out
you've
for that.
shared that you've actually seen malicious attempts on
Yep,
your clients' Google My
yep,
Business profile, correct?
yep. I will also say too that everything that I'm saying is basically true for this uh, tool called Questions and Answers. So again, anybody that has a Google account, a Gmail account, basically can ask a question or answer a question, both. So let's take a look at the questions that exist here for Qualicare. So one question is, do you accept medical? I think that means medical insurance. And the response in this case was, well, you better call us and talk about it. And then another question was, what age do you hire at? And again, this is probably a really good idea. They said, well, please call our office and we can discuss it with you. Um, One thing that can happen in terms of malicious changes is that somebody could submit a question that is something like, why would anyone work here? This company stole my wages. Or they could submit a question like, why would anybody have this company take care of their grandma? They killed my grandma, or things like that. So you have to monitor your listing, even though you're supposed to get notified of these things all the time. There's other things that you can do in terms of questions and answers to optimize your listing. You can uh, pre place or pre post a number of questions that you want to answer, and it could be helpful FAQ type questions like, do you accept health insurance? Does Medicare cover your services and things like that? And then you can post answers too. Um, Now, on the other hand, so we're talking about when good things, when bad things happen to good listings, right? In other words, you've got a
Mm-hmm.
legitimate listing and somebody wants to harm it. There are, I know this will be a shocker, but there are competitors out there that will cheat and try to compete with you unfairly and violate Google's terms of service to do it. So, one way that people will compete with you unfairly is to create phony listings. Why would that matter? Well, it matters because if you do a search like this, what Google will present, this is a classic example of a search engine result page. They'll present their ads first, and then the next thing they present is something
Mm-hmm.
called the local search results. And it's really, really, really valuable to you as a business owner to appear in these local search results because 9 times out of 10, this is what people will choose to respond to. They'll look at these listings. Honestly, they'll probably look and see who has the best and the highest number of reviews. Like Qualicare, our friends there probably will get the very first call because they look good online. So the more listings that you have for a company, the more likely it is that they'll be one of the ones that appear here in this list of three or sometimes four. Um, there may be four if somebody has paid for an ad to appear there. So, what do people do? Well, dishonest or overly aggressive competitors will create fake listings and listings all or in phony addresses all around you. And so, in those cases, if you are astute and if you're checking occasionally, or if you have a company doing this for you, this checking, um, they can go in and you can go in and you can suggest a rather a change and edit. So, and I'm going to use this example, but I'm not using them in any way saying that these guys are doing anything dishonest. But if I thought, for instance, that Amada Senior Care was showing a phony listing here, a fake one where they don't really have an office, I could go in and suggest an edit and say does not exist. Those kinds of edits are a good thing. That's why Google allows this suggest and edit capability.
Mm-hmm.
As an owner, you need to always be watching for both of these things, defending your listing and also guarding against competitors doing dishonest things with Google.
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
go ahead.
Tim, we all know home care owners are exceptionally busy, right?
Yes.
So if they don't feel like they have the capacity to monitor this, even if they have the best of intentions of checking it daily, right? But they're going to be very real with themselves and say, I'm probably going to forget, right? What's the alternative for them to make sure that it's being monitored daily?
Well, so I'm glad you asked. They can use a service like ours, the Senior Leads Boost, to do both of those things. We monitor clients' listings, their Google business profiles daily, and we get notified of any changes to those profiles so that we can respond to them and either reverse them or ask the owner about them. And also, we have a person on our team that once a month goes out to all of our clients' competitors to make sure that they are not doing anything that would be dishonest or a really egregious violation of Google's terms of service. And if they are, then we'll report them and get them either removed or corrected. And you know, so it might seem like you're tattletaling or whatever. You're being
no,
snitch.
it's correcting poor behavior.
Well, honestly, as far as I'm concerned, this is war, right? I mean, I'm aggressive on behalf of my clients. So if you are, let's see, let me switch away from the screen.
Do you want me to add your deck back to the screen?
Nah, it's okay, not right
Okay.
now. So if and I wanted to just illustrate it this way. So if you're competing with somebody for ranking in the listings, and they're outranking you because of something they're doing that is not fair, they're lying, they're breaking the rules or something. You're not being a tattletale, but if you report them and they either get brought back down to your level or better yet, even like lowered, then you win. And that's what we want for our clients. We
Yeah.
want them to win. Now we do a lot of other things besides this whole monitoring business, but that's one of the things that we do. So
Would you mind sharing with the audience? Let's spend a bit of time discussing all that Senior Leads Boost is. I know, the topic for our discussion today was really maximizing your chances to be found in online searches, but could you share with the audience what is Senior Leads Boost? What does it
sure will.
do for agencies?
Sure. So I will share my screen again.
Okay.
And let's see if I've got this. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay. So this is the website for Senior Leads Boost. As you might not be surprised to find out, the website address is seniorleadsboost.com. Now, so here's a description of some, but not necessarily really all, of the features that we include. So one is if you've signed up for what we call the gold plan of Senior Leads Boost, which really just means that you've committed to a 6-month minimum term with us, then we'll give you a free website using our Boost websites. These are full-featured, customizable, um, very professional websites that we've created for people to use. You also get a monthly email newsletter that you can send out, or actually that we send on your behalf, to all of your referral sources or anyone else that you want. Now, notice that neither one of those have anything to do with SEO. Senior Leads Boost is much more than just an SEO service, but these are some of the features in it. Then here we go with the local SEO. So we will fully optimize your Google business profile. We'll create one for you if you don't have one. But many times people do already have one. They just have sadly, only completed maybe 10 or 20% of the things that they could to optimize it. This is one of our clients. We actually worked with them, have worked with them for many years, and they were just recently acquired by a big national company. For citations, we provide the citation service so that you're listed correctly in the important local directories. Review management is, of course, a big part of local search engine optimization. In our review management system, we basically provide a couple of related services. One is if you give us a list of people you think will give you a good review, we will send an email and text message campaign to them, persistently but politely asking them to leave you a review with a link they can click on in the email to where they can do that. And the link actually takes them to an intermediate stage first where we ask them to assign you a ranking of 1 through 5 stars. As long as they assign you 4 or 5 stars, we consider that to be a favorable ranking, and then we give them a link to click on to to
Mm.
leave you a review. If they give you 1 through 5, or rather 1, 2, or 3 stars, we don't take them right to a review link. We take them to a screen that instead says, well, we want to always be providing satisfaction. And can you please tell us what we could have done better? And there's a little form they fill out. Now, FTC rules require now that we still let them leave you a review at that point. So at the very bottom, in small print, there's a link that says, if you'd really rather, you can just leave us a review. And there's a link to do that.
But I think just the fact that you're asking, right, for the feedback probably improves their opinion right from the get-go.
And that is the theory. It's probably true. Also, honestly, remember, we're sending these out on behalf of our clients to a list that they provide to us. And so most clients are savvy enough to normally think, first of all, of asking uh, uh, people that they think would speak well of them to leave a review. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of self-selecting that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, getting a little bit away from SEO, but still really important for other marketing parts of the platform that we provide. We provide clients with a fully paid up sub license to use a marketing automation or CRM platform called High Level. This is not our product. We have a license to basically provide it to our clients. And it is a complete automation platform with the ability to create um, email campaigns, newsletter campaigns, even websites. The website I'm showing you right now is built with it, even though most of our website work is done instead with WordPress. But you can create things like the entire review management system that I just was talking about. That's entirely built with High Level. And when a client comes on board with us and they begin adding tools of their own, creating automations of their own, and High Level, they can be comfortable doing that because if they decide to leave our service, they can contract separately with High Level for an individual account. I think it's $97 a month or something. It's pretty reasonable, and they can just migrate over all of their tools that they've created.
So I find it to be very powerful in my experience because when you and I book a meeting or we're doing something, I love the reminders, right?
Sure.
It sends out the email confirmation automatically, and you can put in there whatever verbiage you want to use. But the text message feature, I think, is phenomenal, right? And the frequency of reminders, it's immediate. And then I think, however you design it, right?
Yeah,
However the
basically,
person wants it to
we
be.
we provide that. We provide a standard version of that, and then it can be customized to any level of frequency. It's also nice because it will automatically integrate with Zoom or Google Meet meetings, and so it'll include automatically a link to the Zoom meeting or to the Google Meet meeting, and it will offer also the ability to have it appear on the calendar in Google or well, primarily in Google calendars, or I think it'll also do Outlook too.
Mm-hmm. I
Really
think I
powerful.
really like it because of it improves the efficiency of the agency, but it really raises the professionalism too, right? And I can see not only when you're booking meetings with referral partners, right, but also with your prospective clients for the intakes and or
Yep.
if you schedule that assessment, it can send those automatic reminders to them.
What it looks like on the uh, side of the person scheduling a meeting, it'll look like this. This is my own scheduling tool. Basically, it presents. It looks like a lot of tools that you probably have seen, like Calendly and ones like that. But basically, it gives them the ability to pick a date and then an available meeting slot, and then they can go on and schedule from there. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, other things that we include, I'm going to skip a little bit of this. This is what I was talking about in terms of competitor spam detection and reporting. Um, I don't know anyone else that does that. I think we're the only ones really that do that. Um, and it works. I mean, I can cite any number of cases where spammy listings or fake listings surrounding our clients' areas have been either reduced or corrected, like in high numbers, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and all of those help our clients to rank more highly.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of things that aren't included here in this list, but that I think are worth talking about very briefly. One is we do include this chat tool. It's really a lot much more than a chat tool, though. We allow people to connect with clients using text messaging. The reason we do that instead of chat is that with a chat tool, you lose the connection once the person leaves your website. With text, then you've got their number and their name, and you can continue to engage with them after that.
Wow.
But also, you can. These are all programmable, custom things that we can do. So we can put in a schedule a meeting link. You can put in a free initial consult tool. You can, if you have lead gifts like a free ebook and things like that, you can um, uh, pop up basically inquiry funnels where people can then fill out a form and request a copy of the of that ebook or whatever other clickbait you've provided to them, and they go right into your high level account as a new contact that you can then
Mm-hmm.
do
Mm-hmm.
marketing with. So,
So I'm sure the senior care companies listening or that will watch this recording are looking at all of the value right now, and they're thinking, I probably can't afford this.
yeah, well, and so that's a fair point. So let's just talk about that. In fact, when I talk with a prospective new client one on one, the first thing I usually do is I take them right to the pricing just so they understand. So most of our competitors, in fact, as far as I know, all of our competitors are pricing themselves in the $1,000 or $2,000 a month range to provide the things that we provide. So here's our pricing. There is a price increase that's going to be taking effect December 1st, but basically we charge $297 a month. As of December 1st, it'll be $379 a month, and I think that's probably the best value out there that anyone will find. The base pricing is the same regardless of the plan you're on, but the plan differences really have to do with the length of the commitment that you're making and um, the charging or not charging for a setup fee, and then some of the premium features we include in our 6 month plan called the Gold Plan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know anyone that charges less than really at least $2,000 a month for what we're doing. But
What is the experience like? So let's say there's an agency listening right now,
mm-hmm.
and they see the value and they're like, wow, yes, we have this in our budget, or if we don't have it in the budget, we're going to figure out how to allocate the funds for this. What is the process of somebody starting to use your services, the onboarding, and if there's ongoing support, what does that look like?
So that's a great question. It's all automated, of course. First of all, when you click to sign up, there's basically a very short checkout process, and then immediately you start receiving automated emails from an automation sequence built with high level that will say, welcome, thank you very much. And then they'll say, here's a list of things we need you to do in order to be able to complete the setup of your account. And for each of the steps, there's a video clip from our library on YouTube, and it shows things we need you to do. Give us access to your Google business profile, to your Google Analytics account, to your Facebook page. We ask for access to that because we'll be sharing your Google reviews to your Facebook page and things like that. Depending upon how responsive the new client is, sometimes they're like right on it, and sometimes they drag their feet. But the setup process can usually take between 1 and 2 weeks, but it can be faster or slower, depending upon, like I say, the cooperation from the client. There's some things that we can do on our own without cooperation from the client, but certainly some things like having access to some of the things that I just mentioned are very important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what do you suggest? I think what was the minimum term? Okay, per month plus one time. But really, when it comes to something like this, right, this type of solution, and I've heard this numerous times now, you can't sign up for just a month or many times, not even like 90 days, and really expect to get traction. Like you need to give appropriate runway time to start seeing the
Yep.
results. So what have you found is your average
What
length?
what I found, and this is what I say to everyone, is you should count on it taking at least 3 to 6 months to begin increasing your rankings in Google search results. And also, honestly, you're being chosen from those results. Remember, I was showing you the listing of the local search results, and one company had like 60 some odd reviews and the other ones didn't. They're going to be chosen, right? But it'll take months to build up those reviews, to get ranking benefit over time. So 3 to 6 months realistically. But what we do with our plans here is we try to make it as uh, unrisky as possible for people. If somebody is really cautious and they only want to go month to month with us, that's fine. Then we'll let them be month to month. That's the standard plan. We do ask for the setup fee, partly because we invest a fair amount of somebody's time in this, somebody on my team, but also there's certain fixed costs that we incur regardless of whether the person stays on the plan with us after that.
What advice would you have for the agencies that think, I'll just do this myself?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Yeah. So you can create a website. You can learn how to optimize your Google business profile. You can check it every day. You can check your competitors' listings continually to make sure that they're not cheating. And you can invest, as I have, basically 15 years in learning SEO, and
on top of all the other responsibilities,
well, and also
right?
create automations like for your review management system and an automated recruiting onboarding system and an automated lead nurturing system. Things that I haven't even mentioned yet, like if somebody's using a lead generation source like caring.com or Place for Mom, we have a way to automatically have those email leads go to our system and then generate um, immediate responses to the lead saying, hey, we're here. We're glad you reached out. We'll be right in touch with you. But you can even call us faster if you want at this number. And then an ongoing lead nurturing after that. I mean, if somebody
So
has
that's
the
huge,
time
because
to
with
do all
those
that,
models, those leads are being sent out to multiple
right?
agencies, right? And oftentimes it's whoever is the first to respond.
Another example is something I didn't even touch on before. One of the ways to make your Google business profile more appealing to somebody who's actually looking at it as a prospective consumer, is to make sure that you upload really great photographs about your business initially, but also on an ongoing basis. And so, if you want to do it yourself, just remember to upload new photos at least once a week. Or with a service like us, we will send you a text message once a week, and all you have to do is answer the text messages from us by replying with a photo or one or more photos about your business. Our system will automatically receive that reply from you and upload them to your business profile.
Right.
Magic.
And so the point of me asking that question, right, about because it's same thing with content creation. Like many agencies know, yeah, I really should have a newsletter. I really need to have a social media presence. And, I think that there's the best of intention, but the days go by so quickly and there's so many other things that they need to focus on that it just year after year, it keeps not getting done. Right. But it
Yep.
is absolutely such a crucial piece to the overall marketing strategy of an
Yep.
agency, just as SEO is.
That's one reason why I think it's probably worth at least showing Private Duty Booster quickly. So,
Oh,
um,
absolutely. Let me add it.
so
Okay.
I think okay. So I'm sharing it right now on my screen. So you may recall that one of the features of Senior Leads Boost is a free website with Private Duty Boost. Well, the way that all of that works is that we offer templates that you can choose from, and there's for a number of them. So, for instance, this one here, these templates all are completely written and ready to go for you. They've got all the artwork, all the photos, they've got all the text written, including, since you mentioned content, nice blog posts. And these are posted once a month in the case of the standard Private Duty Boost websites. And so we do have a complete content team. We've got 6 or 7 writers and a manager for them, and they've been writing on senior topics for us for years. And so they're really good at doing this. And so these things are all included either with a free website if you sign up for the gold plan of Senior Leads Boost, or people can also sign up for Private Duty Boost for just a website if they want to start with that.
Mm-hmm.
The websites are $69 a month if they're purchased or basically subscribed to on a standalone basis. That price is also going up December 1st. It's going up to $79 a month.
Okay.
So,
So when
and
somebody is thinking about starting an agency, I mean, I've seen a wide variety of costs for website development, but owners that I've met that get started and they feel like they've got to dump $10,000 into their home care company's website. I would argue that that's not where you need to invest that level of money in the beginning. Maybe, right, get something like this, get going, go out there, your marketing efforts, your recruiting efforts. And then as you grow, maybe you do want to have more of a custom website.
yeah, this is like a done-for-you service that works really well. A lot of times people will think, well, I can go to someplace like Wix and pay a little less money, not a lot less, and then I can just write all the content myself. It's very hard to get all this done and do it well, to write it well, and to continue to post new content all the time. I'll show you an example of how this kind of translates. So here's the home page of the template that we've been looking at, right? Well, so here's a website one of our clients is using based on that. Probably a company Sarah, from the San Diego market. So they're one of our clients. They actually are a client for Senior Leads Boost also. And so, this is a site that has separate review pages for their two offices and the blog posts and, everything. I think it came out really nice. It uses their colors. We can customize the colors. You may notice this little pop-up review thing that's coming up. That's also part of Senior Leads Boost. If somebody wants it, they can have a little FOMO style review pop-up like that. Anyway, let's see. So those are all great questions. What else can I answer or talk about for you?
While I have you here, I do know that you offer these services for assisted living communities as well, I believe, right? The assisted living Leads Boost. Do you find that maybe the boarding care part of our industry, right? The residential homes that have been converted now in different states, they call them different. Like Tennessee, it's homes for the aged. San Diego, we say boarding cares. I think in Arizona, boarding cares. But I often hear, and I've noticed, you don't really see a lot of marketing from them.
Well, you do
A
with
lot of
our clients.
promotion.
So we have actually quite a few boarding care homes. A lot of them in California. They're also called RCFEs here. Sometimes they're called 6 beds because that's typically how many residents they're allowed to have in many cases. We have, you might not be surprised to hear, assisted living boost, which is basically the same kind of an idea with template-based websites and the whole 9 yards. And this kind of senior care provider is perfectly suited to using Senior Leads Boost for their marketing automation and their local SEO. I think it's almost safe to say that we have at least as many, if not more, assisted living facilities, small assisted living, using Senior Leads Boost and our template-based websites as we do private duty companies.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, I mean they're very sharp. We're fortunate here in California. We have a really great association of RCFE owners that have banded together, and they get the word out on things, services like this. Show you just one example. So this company has one of our senior living websites. And I don't know, is that still sharing properly? Can you see it?
Yes.
Great. And one thing you can do with these is you can embed things like videos and things like that. So, or Google reviews. This is all very easily done with our websites. So.
This is fantastic. Tim, how do people usually find out about your services? And I mean, do you find that they're finding you in the very beginning, or do you find that they have invested a bunch of money trying to do it themselves or engaged another company and they just keep struggling and finally say, okay, this is not working. We need to find a better solution?
It's a variety of ways. I mean, we do a certain amount of marketing to our target market. A lot on Facebook. We just get involved in groups and try to be helpful and answer questions. And um, like here in California, I don't know how many times I try to politely tell people you cannot legally do live-in care here anymore unless you pay, you know, well, anyway, I won't even go there. And
Yeah.
I try to be helpful with things like that. And then sometimes people will say, well, how do you know? And then I can tell them more about what we do. I
As an
will.
educator, I do find you chiming in a lot in the groups on topics that aren't even, related to website development and SEO, right? Just because you do have a legitimate background as a home care owner
I've done a lot
in
of stuff.
California.
Well, uh, one of the good things about having been in the CPA business a long time is that you get to see a lot of different companies, and you can learn a lot from seeing a lot of different companies, especially when you're auditing them. That's interesting.
I bet.
I was going to show the contact information. Let me get that slide back up here.
Here, let me add it.
Okay.
That was my next question, actually, is so anybody that was listening live today or when they see this recording, if they want to learn more, meet with you one-on-one, how can they get in touch with you?
Here's the contact info in the slide. So for Senior Leads Boost, you can see that, and you can just scan that little QR code. They're very welcome to call me at the number shown or email me at the email address shown. And if they're interested in the websites, the various Boost website companies are listed there, and we have those affordable websites available for assisted living, for placement agents, and for private duty. And we also do continue to build custom websites for people and custom SEO. Those tend to be pricey projects. We're doing one right now for a big company out of LA. That's a $10,000 website. So,
and what I
more
think I
affordable
appreciate
doing
about
that.
you is that when you meet with the company, you will kind of do an advisory level discovery with them about what is it that you really need right now, right? Like, do you really need that $10,000 a month service? Or I might suggest, okay, here's really what's the viable option right now.
So a good example of somebody that is a good candidate for the high-end custom website is our client Accredited that was just sold last year for $180 million. They had 5 locations. They did home health and home care and regional services, regional center services. I mean, massive company, 2,000 or 3,000 employees, and a similar number of clients and patients. Most people in the senior care industry are not that size. And honestly, if you take the time to look at our website templates, for instance, they're pretty darn good.
I was noticing that. And look, I am somebody who thought that I might just try to create my own website back when I first started. And I thought, well, I can figure this out. And it was more difficult than I thought. And then the next thing is that really the best use of your time when you can
Bingo.
affordably outsource that and focus on other
Right.
things?
That's right.
Well, let me, Tim, I really appreciate you being
Okay.
my guest today. And, I want to give a big shout out to the sponsor of the Empowering Aging podcast, Retirement Genius. They are all things alternative funding solutions for senior care. So huge thanks to Retirement Genius for sponsoring. And again, what Empowering Aging is all about is educating families, referral partners, other senior care professionals. And that education is about care options, but it's also educating the senior care companies on solutions for their business to have them operating at the most optimal level possible so they can really focus on caring for more families successfully. So again, Tim, thank you so much for being my guest today
Thank
with
you.
Senior Leads Boost.